Number 1. What are the variables of the graph shown to the right? Describe how the variables are related at various points on the graph. The variables are going to be the x and y, or in this case, time and the height of the tower. So that's the variables. Now how they're related. Over time, the height is increasing. The height doesn't increase right at the beginning of time. Time goes by first before the height increases. So the height begins at 0, and there are 1, 2, 3 blocks being added, and once the third block is added, the height of the tower remains the same. So B is going to be our choice. Skipping to number 3, match the graph with its related table. So we see as time's going by, temperature is decreasing. If we look at A, for example, we see it is increasing at various points, so we know it's not going to be that. Looking at B, it is decreasing, and we look at C, it's decreasing. But notice how it's not decreasing at a constant rate. C decreases at a constant rate, so our answer has to be B. That's number 3. Number 5, we have to graph each set of ordered pairs and use words to describe the pattern shown in the graph. So starting with A, this set of coordinates, we see that the x values are all going up by 1, and the y values are all going up by 1. So it's going to be a line, so it can't be C and D. And going up by 1 would be A. So A would be your choice for A. So what the statement describes the pattern, we're increasing by 1 for x and increasing by 1 for y. So we're going to choose A. X is increasing by 1, y is increasing by 1. For B, look at these coordinates. We have 0, 10, 1, 8, 2, 6, 3, 4, and 4 and 2. So it is decreasing, so it's not going to be A. We have a point where x is 0, or on the y-axis. B does not have 1 there, so it's not going to be B, so it has to be either C or D. Now C has a point on 0, 14, whereas this has a point of 0, 10, so it has to be D. Now what's happening is x is increasing by 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, but the y's are decreasing by 2, 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2, so x is increasing by 1 and y is decreasing by 2. See, all the x values are the same, but the y's are all different, but they're all a constant distance away from each other, 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. That means it's not going to be B, because B has several different x values where the x values are all the same here. In A, the y's are not spaced evenly, whereas they are spaced evenly here. So it has to be either C or D. D does not have all the same x value, but C does, so it's going to be C. Now, which statement describes the pattern? The x is always 2, but the y is increasing by 2. So your choice is going to be A. That's number 5. Number 7. In the diagram below, what is the relationship between the number of hexagons and the perimeter of the figure they form? Represent this relationship using a table, words, an equation, and a graph. Let x equal the number of hexagons and y equal the perimeter. Now let's find the perimeter of the first hexagon. All the sides are 3, so hexagons have 6 sides, so 6 times 3 will be 18. Now write it as an ordered pair, meaning with parentheses, so 1, comma 18 in parentheses. The second hexagon, add up all the sides, and when I say add up all the sides, only the outsides, because we're looking for the perimeter. So that's 10 sides. Each length is 3, so 10 times 3 is 30. So 2, comma 30. For the third one, let's add up those sides. And you'll have 14 sides. Remember, just add up the outside sides. So then that times 3, because the length is 3, you'll get 42. So 3, comma 42. Now we need to represent the relationship using words. We have to multiply the number of hexagons in each figure by a number. Take a look at the hexagons. What's changing in each isn't the sum of the left and right sides, it's the sum of the top and bottom sides. So that tells me that what's going to be multiplied has to do with the top and the bottom, because that's what's changing. So looking at the first hexagon, add up the top and bottom numbers. So 3 times 4 is 12. That's what you'll be multiplying by 12. Since all hexagons will have at least 4 sides that contribute to the perimeter of the combined figure. Now, what we add is always going to be the sum of the left and right sides. So 3 plus 3 is 6. That's going to be for the 2 unaccounted 4 sides on the left and right ends of the combined figure to get the entire perimeter. The reason why I choose 4 sides is because there are 4 sides that comprise of the top and the bottom, whereas for the left and right to get to 6, there are only 2 sides, so that's why I choose 2 there. Now for my equation, I have 12 times my x, remember 12 is what I'm multiplying, and then I'm adding 6, so I'm just turning the words into an equation. Now my graph, it's increasing, so it's not going to be C, and D is not linear. It's not a line, so it's not going to be D. It has to either be A or B. My X is going to be the 1, 2, and 3, and that's going along the bottom, so that means my graph has to be A. That's number 7. Number 8, for the table to the right, represent the relationship using words, an equation, and a graph. Then determine whether the relationship is a linear function. So what we're going to do is actually start with our choices and see which one will be. So starting with A, it says the value of y, meaning this value here, is 7 less than the cube of the quantity 2 times the value of x. Now what I recommend is when you see something messy like that, deal with it last, try the others, and then come back to it. So I'm going to skip it and go to B. It says the value of y is 5 less than the quantity 3 times the value of x. So basically that's 3x minus 5. So if I put in 1 for x, that'll be 3 times 1, which is 3, minus 5 doesn't give me 9. So that means it's not going to be B. Let's try C. So the value of y is 1 more than the quantity 8 times the value of x. So it'll be 8x plus 1. So let's put in 1 for x. So 1 times 8 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Okay, that works. Let's do 8 times 3, 24. 24 plus 1 is 25. Okay, so that tells me it is going to be C. So like I said, 8x plus 1. Now for my graph, it's going to be a line, so that means it's not going to be B. And C is decreasing, so it's not going to be C. And it looks like A is not going to be linear either. In fact, it's not going to be linear for A, so that means it's going to have to be D. And that's the answer for that part. So the relationship is linear. and that's number 8.